Henry yearned for the open sea. The cobbled streets of London felt like a cage to him. He spent his days hunched over dusty ledgers, his mind adrift on distant tides. He devoured tales of daring voyages and uncharted lands. Every evening Henry would steal away to the docks. He'd watch ships return from distant shores. Weather-beaten sailors spun yarns of exotic spices and strange constellations. The sea whispered his name, promising adventure and a chance to escape the ordinary. One particularly dreary afternoon, Henry reached a breaking point. He knew in his heart that he could no longer ignore the call of the sea. That very evening he resolved to leave it all behind. As the ship slipped its moorings and the city skyline receded into the distance, Henry felt a surge of exhilaration. The ship cut through the waves, leaving the familiar shores of England behind. Henry stood at the railing, his face turned towards the vast expanse of the Atlantic. The salt spray stung his cheeks, and the wind whipped at his hair. He was leaving behind the constraints of his old life, embracing the unknown with open arms. Life aboard the ship was harsh but exhilarating. The days were long, filled with the tasks of maintaining the vessel and navigating by the stars. Henry learned the intricacies of seafaring from the grizzled crew. He hauled ropes, scrubbed decks, and stood watch through the darkest hours. Each day brought new challenges and pushed him beyond his limits. As the weeks turned into months, the ship ventured further south. Finally, land hove into view, a verdant island shrouded in mist. As the ship dropped anchor in a secluded cove, Henry felt a surge of anticipation. Over the next few years, Henry journeyed to the far corners of the globe. He sailed with seasoned captains and weathered countless storms. He learned to navigate by the stars and read the subtle signs of the sea. He embraced the mariner's life, finding solace in the rhythm of the waves and the camaraderie of his fellow sailors. He explored the steamy jungles of the Amazon, where vibrant parrots screeched from the canopy. He bartered for spices in bustling Indian bazaars, the air thick with the aroma of turmeric and cardamom. On a remote island in the South Pacific, Henry encountered a tribe untouched by the outside world. Through these encounters, Henry's perspective shifted. The sea, once a symbol of escape, became his teacher, revealing the interconnectedness of all things. The sea, for all its beauty, could be a cruel mistress. Henry faced his share of perils during his travels. He weathered ferocious storms that tossed his ship like a toy. He stared death in the face as towering waves threatened to engulf him whole. Once, caught in the grip of a typhoon in the South China Sea, Henry's ship was battered mercilessly. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing at the sails. Waves crashed over the deck, threatening to splinter the vessel. For days they fought for survival, bailing water and clinging to whatever handhold they could find. Through these trials, Henry's resolve was tested to its limits. He learned the true meaning of resilience, the ability to adapt and overcome even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Years turned into decades. Henry's voyages continued, each one a testament to his enduring spirit of adventure. He became a legend among sailors, his name whispered in taverns and seaports around the world. Some dismissed him as a fantasist, but others clung to his tales, inspired by his thirst for the unknown. Henry's stories sparked the imaginations of countless others. Young men and women, yearning for a life less ordinary, set sail inspired by his legacy. In his later years, Henry settled on a remote island in the Aegean Sea. There, surrounded by the endless blue, he finally found peace. He shared his stories with the local fishermen, spinning yarns of distant lands and extraordinary encounters. Henry's legacy lived on, not in maps or monuments, but in the hearts and minds of those who dared to dream of a life less ordinary. Then, as abruptly as it began, Henry's voyages ceased. One day he set sail from his island home and was never seen again. Some believe that his ship was caught in a sudden squall and swallowed by the waves. Others whisper of pirates or mythical sea monsters. The truth of his fate remains shrouded in mystery. Despite the lack of a definitive ending, Henry's story continues to captivate. His journey was not just about exploring the world, but about exploring the boundless potential of the human spirit.